Ladies and gentlemen, friends and degens, welcome to the bi-weekly Bear Report with Mr. Simple Jack, aka Andrew the Chartmaster, and Jan, our fearless leader. We are Acquire.Fi, largest M&A platform, and all of Web3. We also have one of the largest OTC and secondaries desks. We essentially, TLDR, we help you move illiquid assets. We do this twice a week, and talk about markets, news, as well as industry behind-the-scenes updates. As always, we'll get things kicked off. We'll take a look at the markets and the charts, and it is brutal. Probably the worst we've seen it since we started doing these 9 months ago. It's been just market's been in free fall for almost 10 days now.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough. It looks like winter came early, much earlier than expected. But we are coming finally back into some levels, some areas of interest. So, as much as things look kind of like bleak and sad out there, we should be kind of getting more excited in the sense of like, look, everything is starting to get cheaper. We were quite overvalued on a lot of names, on a lot of places. So it's nice to see things slowly coming back into these areas of, what we would consider supports. And now we just have to wait and see if we can consolidate and get some kind of structure. But yeah, I mean, there are still names out there that are still looking decent, that are trying to rally, it's really just like,
Not even our trade master can express his feelings anymore. He's so bearish.
I'm not that bear. I mean, it's definitely we are in a bear market for sure for now. But I still have some hope. Like things should eventually take a turn here. Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's look at the charts here.
I would say it's a very good time to remember when fear and greed is at all-time low. It's usually a very good time to buy. But obviously, there's a lot of things happening. TradFi is finally getting some of the heat away. I see that Nasdaq went quite low. We're seeing a little dump here and there, and then I think there's some major events this week that's gonna be going out.
Yeah, so right now everybody's dumping their stocks. It looks like a lot of big names are coming out on Twitter and being pretty public and open about their shorts and their puts. Everything is pretty overvalued in a sense, right? Like you look at any like price to earning, price to book stuff, and you're like, wow, okay. And the market's done quite a bit of a rally, right? It's been up like pretty much most of the year. And so does a pullback retracement make sense? Sure. I think it's pretty healthy for things to come back down. And so as you can see, we did try to rally out where double bottom is being retested and kind of being broken at the moment. We got these big, nasty double tops kind of structure coming in on the equity market. So maybe this year end, things do need to kind of break down. You can see small caps have already been breaking down. Dow is also starting to break down and put in some tops here. So was trying to see if maybe we can consolidate against this original breakout, this little bullish harami that we've been trading and monitoring. But right now it's looking a little bit weak. And then if we go on the weekly charts, the weeklies don't look that great either. We're also starting to get double tops on the weekly. And you know what weekly double tops usually mean? Usually means the trend is kind of... So, really just have to wait and see kind of how this kind of plays out. Wouldn't be wanting to chase any longs. If you're looking at a short, I think you're a little bit late, but you can try to risk against these previous highs and see if you can get a nice little 20% cut here. But
so, what's your prediction on equities at the moment? Like, I know this dump is like nothing compared to COVID dump. Like if you look at the COVID dump, it's still far away. But at least after COVID, you had the possibilities to get a job, and now people are basically graduating and have no chance of getting a job. I think this is the worst economic reports in history. Am I right?
Yeah, it seems to be.
the 10% unemployment among college graduates in the United States, that's been for a while now. That's yeah, I think it's actually even been worse recently. Stop going to college, you dummies.
Hey, education isn't bad, but just don't rely on it solely, you know.
Well, it's kind of the oxymoron for all my as I was growing up, it was like, if you don't go to college, you're gonna be a loser, you're gonna be a bum.
Yeah.
And like all the guys that went and did trade jobs, electricians, welders, etc., they not only come out of the training, which is like a couple months versus a couple years, they have no debt and they're making six figures. And by the time the doctors and teachers graduate college 8 to 10 years down the road and are $500,000 in debt and getting their first job, these guys are already millionaires because they've been debt free, working a job making six figures for 10 years. And now all the jobs in demand, like if you look at all the AI infrastructure stuff, they're talking about spending trillions of dollars to build infrastructure for AI. The biggest problem they have in the United States, they're talking that's a national defense issue now. They need electricians, they need welders, they need mechanics. And the rates that they're paying these people are going up and up and up because they need people that can, do the maintenance and maintain the vehicles, the facilities, et cetera, for the military. They need people that can build all the infrastructure for the new power plants to power these AI infrastructure stuff. They need people that can maintain those. They need people that can redo the electrical grid in the United States, which is failing. They need so all of these blue collar jobs that people have been shitting on for years are out here about to get filthy rich. And there's a short supply of it. So yeah, on one side, people going to college, getting fucking liberal arts degrees and, LGBTQT history of painters aren't going to have a job. Fuck them. Like that's their choice. Like if you want a job, go get training for something there's actually demand for. Art history majors are going to continue to be unemployed. That's their choice.
It's always been like that, though, no? Yeah. Like anything you do, arts people always kind of like laugh.
Yeah. So go study something there's actually demand for. I know you want to be a painter, you want to be a teacher, you want to be a whatever. Well, if there's no jobs, you going out and bitching and complaining about not having a job isn't going to fix the fact that you went into a field of study that you knew going into there's either very low pay or no jobs available. So I think that it is scary to see people coming out of college and not getting jobs. But at the same time, there are demand for other jobs out there. It's just maybe not the job that you wanted to do. So
yeah, go work at a gold mine or freaking oil refinery or something. Yeah. There's always gigs out there. You can make nice six figures. But yeah, I had the same thing. Like a lot of my friends, they didn't actually get into university, and they are way, way better off. They went to trade school. They were making six figures right out of the gates. They're always in demand for jobs there. They have no care about this AI boom or tech job kind of bullshit. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna study arts, be prepared for a pretty tough future ahead there. But I think it's always been like that, art majors and even going to business school is kind of whatever. You don't really need.
What are you speculating now will happen when U.S. dollars is getting strength and volatility is rising?
Well, volatility is rising, so I do see some W's breaking down here. So that means we're gonna probably see some nukes in the equity markets generally. Anytime VIX starts pumping, you're gonna start seeing pretty big sell-offs. A lot of people buying puts and blah blah blah. U.S. dollar looks kind of weak here. It's not really rallying anymore. I originally thought if we broke out here, we could go higher, but it looks like we just kind of came right into resistance, and then we just kind of got beat up here. So now we're just kind of in a moving average sandwich here. We got the 200 SMA, we have the 13 EMA as well as the 30 SMA. Bear divs, overbought conditions, so things are just kind of resetting here. So not very strong bullish case for US dollar just at the moment. But I do see VIX trying to pop here, which would mean volatility is coming back in, a lot of fear coming back in the market. And, you look at the charts for the equities and it's looking pretty toppy at the moment. So I do think more down action is coming in for the year end here for the markets. And, we're still technically in tax sell-off season. Companies are going to have to clean up their books. VCs and funds need to clean up their books. And so maybe this is finally the wash that we've been all kind of sitting and waiting for. A lot of this like pre-market rally, I think, came in last week, was just kind of the front running of the U.S. government thing. We got the news that shutdown is ending, and then instantly the market just sold off. So I do think a little bit more to the downside is what to expect there. And then if equities get dragged down, crypto probably won't do so well either. So,
can you look at the weekly?
For which one?
Just for stocks.
Stocks, yeah. 1 second. Yeah, so weekly charts, as you can see, we got like double tops starting to come in.
So don't you think it would be possible that we would go to the 5,900, 6,000 levels in, here?
Yeah,
like
the reload zone?
Yeah, I mean, we should go below, or at least like to the support zone when COVID happened, right?
Maybe, because COVID level is very far. There's like, all the way here. That's already like a 200% gain. If we were to do a reload zone of this, hold on, let me see if I can pull up. There we go. Right. If we went from that low there to the peak here, realistically, what's 30% of that entire move? That would be around that 5,000 level. So it'd be like a 30% move from the peak of that bottom there. And then, you know me, reload zones. I always like talking about reload zones. But that's like really far of a drop. Like that, like holy shit. That's a very bad case for the market if it fell that hard. Usually markets, like stock markets, aren't going to fall like 40%, 50%, unless it's like some major crisis. Like COVID was one, financial crisis was one, dot-com boom was one. Maybe this is a tech bubble bomb. And,
isn't this it? Like we have more students with student debts they can't pay. We have car payments they can't pay. We have house prices that are out of hand. Like, I don't know. Like, I think we need to crash. That's my
all by design, baby. Get everybody up to their eyeballs in debt.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do think realistically, like a nice pullback to these 38.2s, like right against these original highs would make sense. I think that would be like kind of like a reasonable correction in this kind of current state. But if we do have to come back down into these reload zone, also, I'm not going to complain. I'd like to buy things cheaper. But really, we just have to wait and see as the structure breaks down here now. So we also got, midterms and shit next year. So I don't know. I think there's going to be some shenanigans going into 2026, but yeah, I mean, for now, looking pretty bearish. Yeah.
Any tokens that you are looking at?
Not really. I think Hype was the only one that I was kind of looking at. I do see some nice consolidation here. It's already kind of breaking out, so I don't really want to chase that, unfortunately. Buying that breakout would have been nice, but honestly, only like Hype is like the one that looks decent to me.
What do you think of I've been looking at Twitter lately, and there's been a lot of FUD about Hype and what happened on the 10th of October. And basically, there's also now, obviously, people getting their tokens. So VCs that invested, there's huge token releases coming up.
Yep.
So I do think there's going to be some bearish sentiment on Hype.
Definitely. I mean, this always generally around these token unlocks, you get a little bit of a pump like a week before, and then you get the sell off naturally after. But they're still doing like the buyback program, I believe, and these guys are generating revenue. People are still using Hyperliquid, and the chart looks decent. You got the bullish divergence, you got W's all across RSI, W's here. You got the reload zone off of this little small range. So I wouldn't fault you if you try to take this little swing trade here. I kind of missed the entry just a little bit there. I'm also like very hesitant on buying stuff right now until like Bitcoin ETH looks a little bit better. I do think we still have a bit of time before things bottom. But the positive side that I'm trying to look at is like, okay, we're in the reload zone finally off of this range. So we got this low, this high, which is like what, 75K to 126. If this range is to hold, then this is typically where we should see a bottom come in. Obviously, we don't really have any structure yet, so gotta wait for some kind of W, kind of like how we had a W back here, W's back here. Get something like that. It would be nice if we actually tagged the 78.6 first, and then we did a nice little W around here. That would be like a really nice trade, in my opinion, and a setup that I would be looking for. We are quite oversold now, which is good. Still no bullish divergence, unfortunately. And by the looks of it, it looks like we're getting much further away from that mid neck. So still, room for momentum to switch, which means probably a little bit more selling. Target wise, this is kind of where I'm hoping we start seeing those W's. If we don't get those, then we probably have to go a bit lower. If we zoom out, there's all these different ranges we can be kind of studying and watching for. I have targets for down here, which is around 80K, even lower. If we did a full range of the bottom, from the very bottom at 15K to the very top of 125, what is the actual reload zone of this entire range? That's kind of what we really should be looking at. And that would give us 57K to 39K, which is obviously people are going to be but realistically, 4-year cycle, this is the top. This is what happens. Markets will retrace about 70 to 80% before it actually bottoms. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Obviously, if we look on weekly charts here, these are going to look pretty nasty. We got our weekly double top now. And there's no sights of any W's kind of like that. So
what's kind of your line in the sand for okay, we're settling for 18-month crypto winter versus we might have a chance to rebound with some bullish QE stuff in 2026?
I feel like I'm kind of there right now.
Okay.
I think realistically, if we start really losing these lows, this low right here, 75K, obviously that's pretty bad. But I just think because we got these double tops already, I'm pretty bearish. Also, the 4-year cycle mark was right here, I think, right when the top came in. And so technically it should be 18 months now before we see some kind of bottom.
That's what the wild thing about this is that if they were going to try to, get everybody to dump and make everybody bearish before, ripping again, this is exactly how they would do it. But it's also exactly how the 4-year cycle should play out. So it's what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. And to everybody that doubted us and made fun of us for these 4-year cycle studies, it's well, you never know what happens, right? No one ever knows. We all have our thesis. We all have stats that we want to follow. But at the end of the day, market's going to do whatever the fuck it wants. So tomorrow, who knows? The market might bottom tomorrow, for all I know. But, if we're going by levels, if we're going by technicals and blah, 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 I don't see a bottom here just yet. I think we still have a lot more consolidation. So if we don't consolidate around here, then I do think much lower, around that 78 to 65.
I think the average buy-ins from Sailor is at 76, 75. So I do think that's going to be somewhere there. It's going to be the bottom. But I don't know. We could see some major companies blow up, and that would mean people need to sell. And actually, institutionals have been buying and whales have been selling. So which means that, hey, this bear market is more about normal people needing liquidity than institutionals. Institutionals, when they park money, they park for a long time. And remember, pension funds have been buying BTC now for a while. So they're not going to sell. So I don't know. I'm pretty curious. I think it's going to be 2 months at least, still a little bit dark times. But after that, some positivity.
Yeah, I'm hoping Christmas, New Year rush, we get some like, at least like a relief rally, as we call it. But until I get those structures and bullish divergences and stuff like that, it's I'm just waiting. I'm just sitting, waiting in cash.
I've been loving seeing everybody post the chart of the emotional cycle. Euphoria and like, oh, we're here, and like a lot of people like, oh, we're in despair, we're in disbelief, we're this. I'm like, you're telling me that this chart covers the entirety of a 4-year cycle, and we just did 1/3 of it in less than 6 weeks. Like, like either we have a lot more down to go, or we're still on the other side of the peak. Like, it doesn't make sense to say we're like 2/3 of the way down through the drop. Like, that whole drop from the peak to the bottom is supposed to take a year. We had our peak 5 weeks ago. Like,
if anything, it just started. That's insane. But that's crypto. Like, people have like attention span of like 1 week.
Yeah, but to be honest, like when FTX imploded and we were at 76 or 72, and we went all the way to 20K, that was pretty fast. I remember it. Like, it was a couple of weeks, maybe 4 weeks, and we just went all the way down.
Yeah. So I'm hoping something crazy, like we get a nice big V bottom or some shit, but I don't know. I prefer consolidations.
FTX was November 22, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
So we had already crashed a bunch by then. We were all the way down to like 20K, but that sent us down to like the bottom. So that went down to like another 25-30% after that.
Yeah, it was bad. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think we're going to be seeing a little bit more downtrend still, and then start slowly getting back up, but still way to go.
Yeah, I'm in no rush, like I said, guys. Like, I do believe winter is here now. We just have to wait. And, like even Ethereum, we're slowly getting into this reload zone finally. This is kind of the zone that I've been eyeing for months. Just got to wait. And, you can see potential bulldogs are starting to build. We are oversold now. I do think one more stab lower would make more sense. And then we can try to, form some kind of double bottom structure there. And then try to see if we either dick at bounce back up or we go straight to the moon. But
I did my part. I did a $300 market buy at 93K last night. I tried to save us, but it wasn't enough.
You cannot fight against the Jews. I'm sorry. They are gonna blast you away. So yeah, I mean, we really just have to wait at this point. I think Ethereum, I think one more leg stab lower would make sense. Maybe it does try to put it in the bottom here temporarily. Because like I said, you are starting to get some signs of, trying to hold here. But no, I do think it's just nothing looks good in my eyes to buy here yet. And unfortunately, a little bearish. And then, you look at the dominance charts too, like, stablecoin dominance just skyrocketing. Bitcoin dominance is falling off as well as the altcoin dominance stuff. So usually, when you get both of these markets falling off and whatnot, it kind of shows that there's a lot of fear in the market.
Oh, really? We're in panic mode at the moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people are still coming out saying they're quitting. And stuff like that. But the one thing that's kind of interesting to me is this. So this, like others, it pretty much tracks like all the crypto dominance like outside of like the top 10 essentially. And so it's kind of showing me like the small cap stuff might actually be trying to bottom, which is kind of weird. And then like I actually do look at like alts like across the board, and like you do see runners. Like there are fucking runners of like really like random names that you just wouldn't have thought, right? But overly, I'm still very like cautious here. I don't think we're in the environment to be chasing anything or trying to catch any falling knives. The market will present itself and tell you when the opportunity is ready. So, but yeah, you look at these like, I joked about us trying to fill all of these tails. I'm almost like 90% certain we are going to reach these lows. before there's an actual bottom that comes in. I think Binance did a very good job in forecasting where prices are going to go to. And yeah, it's not ideal. But I think realistically, yeah, I think these tails have to be cleaned up. And so, that's still like for most things, like another 40% on these names. So
I wouldn't say surprised. Like there was this theory that market maker blew up, and that's why we're seeing almost all liquidity taken away.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's still a lot of like recovery from that massive liquidation, that Black Swan event. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of bodies still floating around, like, yeah, it's going to take some time, guys. Yeah. So for me, like, I'm not touching anything. I'm not buying anything. Like, the only thing I saw was hype, but even I'm kind of like still chickened out on like buying things, which is unfortunate. You gotta like, to be really good at trading, you got to keep all emotions out, and like your trade setup is there. You hit your trade setup. It doesn't fucking matter what's going on. Just like follow your setups. So right now I'm a little bit
more fun to be a bull though.
Hard, so just waiting. But yeah, I mean, if you see any double bottoms out in the market, those are going to be probably your best bets. Like I always say, you got your reload zones, you got your double bottoms, you got your momentum signals. Those are what you're trying to hunt and look for. So yeah, so for me, nothing really right now. I'm pretty much like mostly in cash now. I don't really have any like alt positions, and I'm okay with just sitting in cash. Like I've been in cash heavy for the last couple of weeks, so not as very stressed. But I do worry about the industry in a whole. But
I'm not worried about the industry. I think it will survive. I think usually when bear market comes, all the negativity comes to play, and then 1, 2, 3, the market turns, and we are again all friends and dancing and singing together.
Yes, that's also very true.
One of the good things that comes from these corrections like this, as well as as much as it sucked not to have an alt season and not to see the pre-sale market and the venture side of things pick up this year, coming out of the last cycle, into 21, into 22, when the markets were finally tapering off after the peak, there was so much money that went into just terrible projects that had no business being around. And like our bear market wasn't long enough. That's typically the nice thing with the bear market is it washes out all these like crap projects that never had any, business being in existence in the first place. The problem with the last cycle was that a lot of these guys raised enough money late enough in the cycle that they were able to like sneak by and still be around for, this cycle to start up again. So you had a lot of these just like awful projects out there. Hopefully, finally, this will wash out the rest of that bad blood and we can kind of get a refresher and start to see some new legitimate projects coming in, building real tech, and building actual businesses for a fresh crop here as we turn this around. So I guess maybe that's a silver lining to this, one final shakeout or whatever this is here that finally get the last few of these stragglers around from the last cycle that really didn't build a business or have any, point in being around.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time to remember, like, we need these flushes, like we need new people in. And obviously, unfortunately, if you are a pre-sale investor, like 9 out of your 10 investments will go to zero. It's very risky place. Most of these ideas, they're great on paper, but like executing them is very hard. It's very, very hard to actually have a profitable crypto company.
Agreed. Very much so, yeah.
But yeah, I'm very curious, like where the market will go after this bear market. Like what are the, like people are talking now that we should be measuring more tokens to revenue and so forth. I kind of disagree because then we go too much to the TradFi side and we are talking about private equity plays and being like, all right, like, hey, if you have revenue of $10 billion, you should be valued at 50 billion or whatever. I do not think that will come. I think there are some speculation that we should be valuing these tokens like that. But as long as there's speculation, I don't think that will happen. But interesting to see like if that's the future of token plays.
That's the funny thing is like, all right, start with the stocks, start with equity, start with traditional markets first. Look at their P&E, look at the ratios right now, like 100x revenue. Like, what are you talking about? We need a value based on revenue. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been a shit show. But that's the state of the world we're in, guys. It's just how it is.
OpenAI wants a $1 trillion valuation with like $14 billion in revenue.
I like that. I would like to get that valuation.
Yeah, of course. Who wouldn't?
But is there any tokens that you guys are looking for, like very much so now during the bear market, like to get some kind of holding?
Maybe just any of the blue chips, really. But I don't know, man. I honestly think most of this crypto shit is like all the same. Everything's gonna move in one kind of unison way. Hype is probably the most like one that I kind of look at.
If you would have to pick like actual some substance behind them, like what would you pick? Let's say two.
Hyperliquid for sure. I think Hype makes a lot of sense. They have a great product. They're making revenue. They got this fucking buyback thing they got going. And if you look at most alts, they're down pretty heavily. Hype is still trying to bottom here again. So
what's the difference between Hype and Aster then? Aster
is bullshit, and it's just CZ's little money laundering playground.
Yeah, but you should never go against CZ. You should never go against CZ. We know that already. You can see with BNB, and if he's going, if he's supporting a token as he's supporting Astra at the moment, like I would be very careful going against him. If he has
jail,
it's not like you're going. It's not like you're going against him. I mean, it's more just like the fact that I'm like, I like Hyperliquid. I use Aster. It's a shit product. Horrible DEX. Half the shit barely works. But it looks like it's actually bottoming here. If you're trying to hunt W's, you got some W's right there. So, I can see people trying to buy this and trying to play this. Maybe this goes for a massive generational run here because, it looks like it's trying to bottom. It's easy. Like you said, they love to do pump and dump schemes and do a lot of inside trading. Clearly looks like it's trying to bottom here. But yeah,
it looks very similar to pump before it went back to 8 cents. But yeah, like if I would have to pick like 2 or 3, I would pick probably BNB. I would pick Tron, and I would probably I know people will hate me because of this, but I just think I'm looking at purely revenue-based plays.
Yeah.
And these guys are making the most revenues. If I look at L1s, there's basically Solana or Tron. And Tron is making pretty good damn revenue compared to Solana at the moment. So obviously, I'm trying to pick the ones that have most upside. But yeah, my third one, that would be interesting. I like Hype. I do agree. But I do think there's a lot of lockups coming in play. So I don't know how that will play. I don't know what my third one is. But yeah, my purely, if you want my honest opinion, these are purely on revenue based. I know people will say that these are scammers. I do agree, Justin Sun, he's been so bad for the environment and industry, but yeah, they're still making money. Yeah.
I gotta go. If I'm going blue chips, I'm gonna go ETH and Link. But I'm also gonna be looking at some dirty late night, last girl at the bar kind of plays as well. I'm gonna be looking for, trends we know are going to be reemerging with projects that have good teams and a fuckload of revenue or a fuckload of money, stacked up that we know aren't going anywhere, that have enough money to last for 10 years, picked up a bear market, and are going to drop to 90% of what they were previously, and be fully diluted by the time the next bull market comes around, that you can pick up for pennies on the dollar, that are guaranteed to pump, even if they aren't the number one in the trend. If they're a legacy AI coin or RWA or something, even if they don't catch the hottest bid and become a really popular, top 10 project in that sector, they're still going to catch a pump with everybody else as they go up. I think some of those are easy, bear market 10, 20Xs.
Yeah, like I said before in this podcast, like if you have time, I would really, really go and dig deep or use AI and check what teams are very active still on socials, what teams are still building, and where's the upside, right?
Yeah, I think that's a very good advice there. Look for real protocols with real revenue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think, do you have any other charts?
No, that's it for me. Unfortunately, there's not as many exciting things to look at for me right now. So this is kind of it for me, guys.
Yeah, understandable. I mean, this not always a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, dude, sometimes the best trades are just, you just don't do anything. Like, you don't always have to be invested. You don't always have to be buying shit. Like, cash is also a good position to have sometimes, right? Like, I think you're better off in that sense. But if we were to walk away today with 2 picks, I do like Hyperliquid. I do like Aster. Actually looks like it's trying to bottom here. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got, boys. It's a tough market right now. Actually, the thing is too is funny is like I do see a lot of things coming into like these 78.6 reload zones right now, like Pump, for example. Same with Solana. So I think if we do start putting in these double bottoms in this zone, those are kind of like what I'm going to be hunting. But I like it. I got potential divs, oversold, reload zone. All it's missing is a double bottom now.
That's it. Just that one thing.
Yes, sir. That's it.
And then back to new all-time highs.
That would be nice. I would greatly appreciate that.
All right. Well, before we get into some stories, there is a bit to cover. It's actually a pretty big week for economic data coming in. But before we dive into that, let's take a look at another M&A opportunity out here. New listing that just went up. It's a project we've been working with for a little while. Really solid founder, been in the game for a while. Business started back in 2017, so these guys have been around, a seasoned team here. This is a crypto education platform, more than 1 million content pieces, so a little bit of a mix between, education, media there, 3.8 million users, covering more than 10 languages. These guys have been revenue positive for a long time. The last 12 months, they brought in over $3 million or 3 million euros in revenue, and more than 2 million of that in profit. So very high profit margins on this business. Located in Europe, website for strong SEO, or 500,000 organic traffic per month. Good Twitter following, good YouTube, good newsletter. This is a fantastic opportunity for people. For user plays, people that are looking to onboard users as well as revenue streams, obviously. This would be great for media agencies. This would be great for things like casinos who are looking to do advertising and onboard new users. Even centralized exchanges, L1, L2s. Again, really great opportunity to get in front of a fresh audience of eyes, a large number per month, and reach out to new markets, bring on new users, which is kind of constantly the battle for most of these, large projects. At the heart of it, it's who can bring on the most users, who can get the best traction number. So, Jan, I know anything else on this one in particular you wanted to cover a point out here?
I would say that very good SEO. Like everyone that does anything related to SEO knows that if you're growing your organic traffic or website, SEO is the key thing. And this website has been around for a while, and their SEO is very good.
Yeah, very, very good SEO. Well, again, well-established business
that you can actually do with this this website.
Sorry, say that again.
There's a lot of many things you can actually do with this website. Not only educational, but like if you want to do other things, it's very, very easy to pivot.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, not a new business. It's not one of those, they've had success the last 9 months. This business has been around since 2017. So proven team, proven business model, proven revenue streams, user base, etc. So if this is of interest to you, feel free to reach out. You can reach out right through the website. You can reach out on our X page or through our through Telegram there. Happy to take a look and dive in deeper on that with you, or if you have a business of your own that you'd like to get acquired, or a acquisition search of another type of business. That is our specialty. Happy to help on either side, buy or sell, when it comes to acquisitions, as well as OTC and secondaries. OTC and secondary markets still fairly healthy despite the markets taking a major correction here. Definitely saw opportunities on both sides of the OTC and M&A space there. All right, where do we want to start first? I mean, we talked a lot out here, but fear and greed cycle extremes hitting the low of 15. Haven't seen that since really even since 2023 when we bottomed. We bottomed around, looks like 35 here, around the 30s. The last time we saw in the teens was back in like peak tariff fears in March of this year here. So now getting back into that deep fear zone. Something we talked about, a couple of weeks ago, saying that we haven't reached max pain yet. We haven't reached max fear and sentiment in the market, and this still can go lower. I don't know what the all-time low ever is, but we are definitely getting down there and approaching that territory.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is all-time low for this year. So think about that, guys. Like we're still, I think, despite being all-time low, I think we can still go lower. We haven't seen any bigger influencer quit yet, so I'm waiting for that. But we're definitely in the fear zone.
I did see an interesting study. I don't have it up here, but showing all the times in the past when we've reached these extreme fear levels, that typically signals some sort of bottom area where the weekly, the monthly, I think it was a 3-month, and the 6-month outlook were all positive. Going out from there. Will we see that hold true? I don't know. We talked about all those different factors there recently, but I think one of the maybe comforting things that we can look forward to, I think it's going to be pretty clear within the next 2 months whether we're officially full on crypto winter bear market for the next 18 months, or if we're going to start turning around and see some upside in 2026. I don't think we're going to need to wait much longer to figure that out. I think it'll be pretty clear here in the next, by January, what's happening there. One of the major factors that's going to be part of that is, do we get the rate cut in December? The no change bets continuing to pump up to 54% now. 54% of people think that JP is going to stiff us, and we're getting no rate cut in December. What do you guys think on that?
Yeah, I mean, tough to say. I mean, I don't know. I actually don't really know. I don't think they're going to cut it, but yeah.
I'm thinking that they have to cut, but then I'm again seeing like we're so fucked. we have so big inflation, like no one can afford anything. So I don't know. We're in a very bad position.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to see what these numbers look like come the weekend. We've got a lot of economic stuff happening this week. A lot of new numbers coming out. I think probably the two most important are NVIDIA earnings. There's been the rumors of the AI bubble, which we've talked about a couple times over the last 2 weeks here on the live stream. I think the NVIDIA earnings that are coming out, that's on Wednesday, I mean, we could see a massive dump if we are under expectations with all the FUD that's already in the market, especially around NVIDIA and these this AI bubble. That could send us quite a bit lower, both in equities and in TradFi and in crypto. But a positive earnings report, could do quite the opposite. Help give us some stability. Maybe put in a bottom here. The earnings, though, I think they're 20% increased from before, so it's aggressive. We'll see what happens. We also have the jobs report. That's going to be a big one. The September jobs report, as well as inflation expectation. It's going to be very hard for them not to cut if we get a bad jobs report.
But wait. I'm very confused. Because last week or this week they said that they're not going to release any reports anymore.
October's.
Okay. So now they are releasing something.
Yeah.
I'm so confused at the moment on the government.
October's they don't want to release. Yeah, October's they don't want to release because the government was shut down and they're worried it's going to skew the numbers so bad that because most of the jobs that were created during Biden's administration were government jobs. So they've all been out of business. They've been all out of business for the last 40 days. Not getting paid, and the numbers they're worried in October are going to be so bad that it will skew all of the economic data and send the market into chaos and whatever else. So instead of just making them up and then revising them 6 months later, they're just not going to release them.
So this is how I think a Fed is making decision. They go outside, they put their finger and be like, all right, it's coming from the north.
Yep, pretty much.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, they go outside and they what do they call it when they cut the snake open and look for signs from the birds and the intestines and send up smoke signals.
Yeah.
Before going into battle. JP's gonna do whatever whoever it is that behind the scenes tells him what to do. He's gonna do whatever they tell him what to do. Whatever Trump doesn't want him to do, basically. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be hard for them not to. What are the factors? If we're going to have any sort of bullish markets in 2026, and we've talked about why that's important with the elections that are coming up. The economic levers that they have to pull with cutting rates, with quantitative easing, things like that, those take up to 6 months to have a real effect on the jobs market, to have a real effect on the bottom line for the average American voter. So if the administration that's in charge wants to see the positive benefit of that for the elections, they can't wait till this next, till late Q2 or this summer to do it. It won't have enough time to catch up and affect the economy before the election. So if they're going to try to impact the voting in November next year, via these economic levers they can pull, they need to start doing it in Q1. Otherwise, it won't have time to have the downstream effect and really make a demonstrable impact on the election. So kind of go over what we said earlier. Like if we're not going into a bear market, like we're going to have to start seeing some signs that make it obvious in the next month or two. This is not something they can continue to hold off and not make significant rate cuts, not make announcements about QE and start doing, serious market manipulations that are planned over the next couple of months, or it's just going to be too late to have an impact on the elections, which is, one of the main reasons they're going to be doing it next year.
But let's go forward. I just think this is ridiculous because all the data is just random at this moment. We don't even know what's real anymore. So whatever. I think if you look at the list, I'm mostly curious about NVIDIA, how their earnings are, because everyone are talking about the bubble. So really, really curious here if it's a bubble or not.
Yeah, I agree.
It's definitely a bubble.
I
definitely think it's a bubble.
I think that's the most impactful thing on here, followed up by jobs reports and inflation expectations. So it'll be interesting to see how this shifts by the end of the week as this economic data comes out. Are people getting going to flip more bearish on the rate cut, or are we going to see more and more people pile into this no change? Poly market hasn't been wrong very often, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
That's scary.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Dude, I really thought that this was AI when I first time saw this.
Yeah.
I was so sure.
Alex?
He went from like an anime character now to a fucking Russian mob gangster.
Chad Vitalik or Chad Buterin.
Yeah. Well, here we go. NVIDIA always blows away numbers, but this is how the market reacts. It can still sell off. Yeah. I think I was listening yesterday to a very good podcast where basically they were going through Michael Burry's like analytical and some other bearish people. And they said like, you can be a bearish like for years and the market can be still going against you. Like just going up.
The market can stay irrational much longer than you can stay solvent.
Yeah. In the long run, like it's very hard to be a perpetual bear trying to always short stuff. Like it's, those guys, but at the same time, they only need to be right once in 20 years to make enough money to never, to be wrong every other time. But
yes,
if you don't get that win earlier on in your career, you're going to be in for a rough go. But one of the only bids we've seen is in the privacy narrative. We've continued to see Zcash pump. I think they hit another new, whatever, not maybe an all-time high, but all-time high for this run here this last week. So Ethereum coming out here, Vitalik giving a great speech. I actually watched this whole thing. Talked a lot about the how privacy is an underlying fundamental for a lot of the freedoms and human things we consider human rights. In our modern societies today, that without them, that aspect of society will cease to exist. So love to see him kind of double down on the personal individual narrative of why privacy is important. But he also talked about the technological reasons that privacy is going to be more and more important for blockchain in the future. In that the only way to be able to really scale with security on these blockchains, the levels of making it the global infrastructure, is to have privacy naturally baked into these blockchains. He released a paper which he cites a couple times in this speech back, I think in September it was, where he was talking about within the next couple of years they're going to be making Ethereum natively privacy chain, and he doubled down on that in this speech here today. So. This was at the, I can't remember if it was part of a bigger conference or if it was its own conference, but they had a privacy conference here last week. So really good stuff to see from Ethereum, really good stuff to see overall that, not just what he's saying, but kind of the change in demeanor from Vitalik doing karaoke dressed as a butterfly to get rid of some of the woke people of the Ethereum Foundation and actually getting back to like building tech and trying to make a difference in what they're developing versus making political statements. So love to see that. It was a good message there. More bullish stuff for Ethereum, even if in the short term we were down here. Hard to argue that Ethereum is not going to continue to win out the smart contract chain narrative. They're getting stable coins. They're going to be putting a hard bid in for privacy networks. A lot of stuff happening on Ethereum. As much as I've been an Ethereum hater in the past, I have liked to see what's the last 6 months of, I think, been a very positive move for the Ethereum Foundation.
Well, I've always liked Ethereum. I've always considered it like Bitcoin's best friend. They always go hand in hand.
Well, one of our channel favorites, the Kobayashi letter. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce that. Current market situation, pretty interesting list of what's going on around the world, the broader scheme of macroeconomics. U.S. prepping $2,000 stimulus checks. Japan preparing $110 billion stimulus package. Did the math on that. It works out to just under $1,000 U.S. per Japanese citizen. Now, they're not necessarily going to be sending $1,000 checks out as the U.S. is doing, but they've talked about it could be tax cuts, it could be business stimulus, whatever. But overall, in terms of the economic impact, it's roughly about $1,000 per citizen being injected into their market there. China approving a $1.4 trillion stimulus package, about $1 a person in China. The Fed officially ending QT on December 1st. have we gotten that? Is that official, or is that still speculative official? I've heard multiple sides to that story. I don't know. Have you guys seen anything on that? But I've heard a lot of rumors. I don't know. I haven't necessarily seen JP and the Fed coming out saying, yeah, QT's done on December 1st. But it would be great to see that.
Yeah, but just looking at this news, I'm telling you guys, prepare to pay for coffee, $25.
It's good thing I don't drink coffee.
$25 coffee. Here we go.
No, my KTVs are going to be too expensive.
No, but this is so ridiculous. We print more money, then we overspend, then we print more money, then we overspend.
Yeah, we always kick the can down the road. We've never changed. Nothing's ever changes.
Oh.
1.9 trillion in U.S. Treasuries per year coming out. Lovely. Canada restarting quantitative easing program. That's a big one. Global M2 money supply is at a record $137 trillion. Can you imagine? Even just a fraction of a percent of that trickling into crypto, and it's boner time.
It's all a fugazi.
Yep. And global rate cuts are at 320 plus over the last 24 months. In what other world is another wave of inflation not on its way? Very interesting stuff. A good breakdown here by Adam Kobayashi. Bad news for consumers, good news for stocks. Magnificent Seven surpasses $20 trillion in market cap, yet 60% of Americans think we are in a recession. Even as the S&P hits a record high, U.S. graduate unemployment nears 10%. Talked a bit about that earlier. Governments injecting stimulus into the economy, and central banks have rate cuts 300 plus times. That's not just the U.S., that's worldwide. Everybody is starting to massively cut rates and print money. Large cap tech stocks, making up 40% of the S&P 500, don't need the rate cuts, in particular as inflation runs above 3%. But everybody else does. Gap between asset owners and non-asset owners is only going to widen. National asset prices will rise. It's been kind of the narrative everybody with that understands wealth, understands money has been preaching, especially the last 2 years. Get your hands on it.
I would say 5 years since COVID.
Yeah,
essentially like ever since COVID.
So, yeah, we're obviously big believers in Bitcoin and crypto assets, stocks. I mean, real estate, gold. Like, I think all of it is going to be a better option than U.S. fiat shit tickets.
Mm-hmm.
But good luck, everyone.
Choose your bets wisely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and take it to heart with who you vote for as well. Like, how long can we kick the can down the road? At what point do we have to tear the Band-Aid off and deal with the consequences of the last 100 years?
Not in our lifetime.
We'll see.
It's going to be our grandkids and grandchilds that are going to deal with this.
Well, I don't know about that, man. We are pushing the envelope. We are pushing the envelope.
That's for sure. Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe a little more hopium here for us, trying to shed some positive light on what's been a pretty dismal live stream. Otherwise, looking historically at the cycles, we're only we're still under a 30% drawdown from the all-time high. As much as it hurts when it happens, and as coincidental maybe as timing might turn out to be with the 4-year cycle, pullbacks like this happen a lot in these cycles. You can see 2016, 2017, there's a 43, a 40, a 34, a 34, a 40, a 41, and a 30% pullback, all within the run up on the cycle. Last cycle, we saw a 23, a 15, a 32, a 23, and a 26% drawdown. Even this cycle, we've seen multiple 20s and even 30% plus drawdowns already so far this cycle. That's always the question. Is this one more of the 20 to 30% dips, or is this the one that if we all missed the mark on, that sends us back into the real dip of 50, 60, 70% into the bear market there? I think we'll see very soon here in the next month or two.
Yeah.
whether or not it's good or we're boned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already kind of talked about this a little bit. Japan looking to do $110 billion in new stimulus. This is one of the, we've been a story for years now as well. Yen at a 35-year low. Their yield curve has gone inverted. They got some issues over there. Their currency is in a bit of trouble. I think a big part of it is ain't having any babies. Y'all need to start. I don't know what's going on. Y'all need to start getting busy over there in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, they have a very intense work culture lifestyle, so it's pretty rugged.
Yeah.
Poor Japan. It's also because they don't really like foreigners, and they don't.
Good.
They don't. They're like, we're not gonna just bring in a horde of like Indian people and like, you know.
That's a good thing. You don't need to try and make up for your population decreasing by importing the third world. Like, we know that doesn't work. We've been trying that in the West for the last 2-3 decades. Just start banging each other. Like, I don't see. It's not that hard. Like,
yeah.
Well, Michael Saylor still buying, still DCAing another 835 million at an average price of 102,000. Obviously, he's down a little bit on that in the last 2 weeks, but I would imagine as we continue to see low 90s, high 80s, whatever it is that wherever we bottom, Saylor's going to be buying all the way down. He and Tom Lee still bullish as ever. Tom Lee not giving up on his $7,000 ETH prediction by the end of the year.
Did he have a wider? I thought he had a wider range. It was like probably like 60K Ethereum or some shit.
That's
he's talking wild shit lately.
That's Kiyosaki. Kiyosaki's the one that's talking about $60,000 Ethereum by a year.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck am I reading? Like, oh man.
It'd be nice to be so rich you could just don't care about throwing out asinine predictions like that. That affect your life if you're right or wrong in any possible, in any meaningful way whatsoever. It's like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll go on national news and talk about this.
Yeah, that's zero idea what the fuck is saying. So funny.
Oh man, what else? That's about it. A little bit. We've kind of hammered this into the ground, talking about the business cycle, the ISM. Being the real driver behind crypto prices over the last few cycles. Just so happened that it lined up with the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin, but the liquidity in the business cycle is what's, the theory is really driving the markets. And there's at least a logical explanation for why we are seeing a lengthening of the cycle. 2021 and 2022, U.S. pushed the average debt maturity from 4 to 5 years, stretching that business cycle from a typical 4-year to a 5-year cycle as the debt maturity has changed along with it. So what looks like Bitcoin being slow is actually a macro clock running 1 year longer than usual. So maybe that's the ultimate hopium that we can see that it is in fact a 5-year cycle instead of a 4-year cycle, which would line up, getting just another, mid-cycle dip here. Fingers crossed, boys. We will know soon enough.
Yeah, we'll know soon.
But that's it. Tried to find a few hopium articles out there for us. But I think overall, we just need to wait, be more patient, see how things unfold this week with some of the economic predictions, NVIDIA numbers, jobs reports, see if they actually stop QT December 1st, see what happens with the rate cuts on the 10th, and see how what the Fed is saying in terms of QE. Because stopping QT is great, but if you look back at the last few cycles, nothing really happens until they start QT in earnest, or QE in earnest, excuse me. And just because they stop QT doesn't mean they need to start adding back to the books and printing money. That could, take months down the road yet. So, buckle up. It's going to be an interesting Christmas and New Year's, and fingers crossed. I'm still got a little light of hopium for Q1 next year.
We still have Thanksgiving coming up. Thanksgiving might save us. Let's hope.
Yay.
Let's see how that Black Friday sales go.
Again,
yeah, Black Friday. I mean, we're getting some good discounts now. So.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back Friday covering some of that economic data that we highlighted today. We'll have NVIDIA earnings by then. We will have September job reports out by then. We won't have the inflation expectations, but I think when we see the NVIDIA reports and the job numbers from September, it give us a pretty good idea what they're going to say about inflation numbers. So we're back on Friday covering all that and more. Hopefully have a few new M&A listings to look at and maybe a clearer picture in the overall Bitcoin charts. We will, regardless, we'll be back here live as usual on Friday. And thanks again for tuning in. Give us a like, a share, leave us a comment. Let us know if you got charts. If you have your favorite token that you want us to chart and try and breathe some hopium into your trades, we can do that. Leave us a comment on the video here or hit us up on the live stream. Until next time, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, see you in a couple days.
See you guys.